Hello again, everybody. You're listening to the Total Bases podcast, and with me is a special guest. Well, I didn't even introduce myself yet. Hold on a minute. Hold on. My name is Felipe. I am your host, and with me is a special guest. No Sean, no Austin, but I do have from the bullpen. Once again, I go to my right-handed pitcher from New York, Brooklyn, Coney Island, James Handleboat. James, introduce yourself.
Well, my name is James. So a lot of you guys who have been in the Baseball League Facebook group for a long time probably know me already. Resident angry Met fan.
Jacob the Ground Doppelganger, sure.
Old Jacob the Grom doppelganger, not a new one. But yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. I even personally reached out to Felipe like, hey, you got spots? You got spots for the podcast coming up? I got to talk. I'm itching. My first place for 15 and 17. I'm itching. I gotta talk.
Well, you're in luck. No Austin, no Sean. They went on vacation. That's the beauty of going to a three-man booth, is that I don't have to be around all the time because they can take care of it, and vice versa. So I took in some weeks off, and they've picked up the slack in my absence, and now I'm picking up the slack. And James just so happened to be, hey, you got any one of them open slots for me, man? Like a crackhead over here. So yes, we do today. Today's the day. So you are from New York. You wanted to talk about your Mets and the Yankees. I'm pretty sure baseball is a hot topic item at Hot Topic. No, I'm sorry, in New York City. How's the buzz been so far over there where you are?
I feel like it's like when I was like 9 years old in like 2006, when like we had like several good New York teams and stuff. It's like the Mets were actually doing something, and like the Yankees, or just the Yankees, they're always got something going on.
Yeah,
it's crazy. New York is like a little bit of like a hot pot right now. It's like, the Yankees are the best, the Mets are the best, and it's like, I feel like even the Subway Series isn't even going to settle anything at this point. It's going to be some argument all year round until we get another 2000 and it's Mets versus Yankees in the World Series or something, and that's the only thing that's going to shut people up. But I don't know, it's fun. Like, I don't necessarily hate the Yankees, but I think this is good for New York, New York sports in general. Like, the last time a team has even been to like a championship in New York is probably 2012, like 2015 when the Mets made it, right? And then before, the last time we won one was in 2012 when the Giants beat the Patriots. So it's like our city needs this. It's like, this is like, I'm happy.
yeah, I'm not used to New York being the loser town that it is. All this
really.
losing that they do, no championships.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is. Yeah, you're right. It is 2012, right?
Yeah, 2012 was the last time a New York team won a championship, and it was against the Giants. And actually, I was wrong. I can't actually. No, yeah, I'm right. The Mets were the last time anybody made it to the championship, because I think it was 2014. The Rangers made it to the Stanley Cup and lost to the Kings, which I don't really talk about right now. So
yeah, I mean that's some Philly shit right there. What's going on over there? You guys not?
I don't know. I guess we like to spend. We don't know how to spend right. But
it sounds like you guys are not rigging the system properly like you used to. That's all I'm thinking. That's all I'm thinking here. But hey, you know what? You are. I'm looking at the fan graphs. I guess I could share this. I didn't want to share today, but I guess I'll share my screen today. I'm at the fan graphs. See, the thing about it is I got to make it bigger now because you got people who need reading glasses and stuff. So, all right, fan graphs. As you can see, Yankees are an 11.4% chance of winning the World Series.
Wow.
Which, as you'll see, that's higher than anybody else. Oh, well, the Astros. Well, you know what? Hey, Astros, they proved them, man. They no-hit the Yankees. That means the Yankees suck now, and the Astros are the real team.
They no-hit them, but I don't know if you've like really looked at their lineup like that, but their lineup is not even that great. Like the 1 through 5 is like just disgustingly amazing. Like their 1 through 5 in that lineup every day is so scary. But then like it gets to the guys after that, and you're like, these guys are like, this team is, in the top in run production. Like,
it's a really good team. I mean, it's a very under the radar team, and they got injuries too. Like they're not even at full strength, and they lost a lot of people to just free agency and just making trades to stay competitive without the trash can. So but we're looking at the Astros. I mean, you're right, Jose Altuve, Michael Brantley. I mean, this lineup doesn't strike out a lot. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
now you want to. You want to? Oh well, that's another good example. It's so there's I mean, Yuli Gurriel. I mean, we know who he is. Aledmus Diaz. He's a steady middle infielder, and then Jake Myers, who was I guess he's finally back. But Jake Myers was everybody's favorite outfield grab in fantasy leagues last year.
Yeah.
That's probably the guy who strikes out a lot. And then Martin Maldonado, who I think is just an automatic out.
Yeah.
But I think so is Jason Castro.
And
And
that kid, Matt Jevic or whatever, he bombed the ball last night. Oh my God. I had the game on last night just because it was like the Met game wasn't on yet. And I think it was 109 miles an hour or 114 miles an hour or something like that.
yeah,
It was gone the second it was off the bat. Like the second he hit it, it was out of the park. Like everybody knew it. But
yeah.
yeah,
And he's a 26-year-old guy who finally, is this his first year? He finally made it to the big leagues, has already struck out 43% of the time.
yeah, it's only 7 games though. So
Yeah, I know. But
he's on the Astros. You know how they are. Like that won't be like that for that long.
yeah, what was he doing at AAA? Yeah, he's shown that. Oh yeah, this is him right here, man. He does strike out a lot, 30% here, 31% there in
Yeah, I mean, he got
2019.
it down this year though. Look at the 24%, not high, not very low, but I mean it's lower than 42%. So
Well, there is a caveat to that this year was the second stint in
yeah,
AAA, so it's always easier the second time
very
around.
true.
So you got to be wary of that. But I think the 30% is more realistic than the 24% and the 42% that he's doing right now in the majors.
Yeah,
It's not so. I mean, it's extremely high, but you could expect some extremely high strikeout numbers from him. I think just based on a quick glance on his major league roster. But you're right; they get a bunch of guys who you don't think they should be doing anything, and then they do stuff, right?
yeah,
It's a hell of a lineup. I mean, I can see why they're still among the league leaders in the offense and why they're giving Yankees the fits, because they don't strike out a lot. They know how to take pitches. You could say that it's the trash cans or the computers or the cameras, but just on their own merit, take that garbage away.
yeah,
Garbage. Take that nonsense, take that narrative away. And it's still, I mean, who's going to doubt Michael Brandling's hitting ability?
yeah.
You,
I mean, the only
I'm
one
not.
left, like from that era or regime is really like Bregman. I mean, like we already know Altuve wasn't like a part of that, or at least that from like the player standpoint, he did nothing with that. But like Bregman was one of the ones that like most likely really did do something. So like everyone
Yeah.
else, like you can kind of give them the pass. Like these guys are just hitters. Like Tucker and Alvarez, like they were like stars before they even like came to the majors. Like you knew they were gonna do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's time to stop hating on the Astros. They did what they did. It's over. That was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Move
Oh
on.
God. It seems like it was yesterday, but
I
it's
know.
only yesterday because it keeps getting brought up, I guess. I mean, that's how legendary it is. But then the real story is the pitching staff. I mean, they lost Garrett Cole, but that's all right. They just were waiting for Justin Verlander to get back from Tommy John. Christian Javier is just, oh my God, James, we talked about him all off season long. We told you guys, watch out. And I know that the Astros love to do their little weird things that they like to do over there. So they started Javier out of the bullpen because they wanted to go to a 6-man rotation or include Jake Odorizzi in the rotation. And of course, Odorizzi, I think he's still hurt. So finally, the Christian Javier has some light, so I guess the spotlight, and he shone brightest in the biggest of stages yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean that was like he was like dicing the Yankees up last night. Like it wasn't even like one of those nights where like the Yankees just don't really have it. Like he was behind on Stanton. I think I just one at bat that I was watching. He got behind Stanton 2-0, just threw him a fastball like right on the corner. Then Stanton just whiffed at it. Like like he had stuff last night. Like he looked great. He threw us like actually no, that might have been the Met game that I was thinking about that slider. But no, I mean he was just like he just looked great last night. And it's a good sign for Astros fans because it's like you have like Verlander getting hurt all the time. Like he's an amazing pitcher, but it's like you can't rely on him to be like same thing with the Mets and DeGrom. You can't really expect that guy's gonna throw like 30 games a season or something like that because he might be hurt for half of them. So. But obviously having Verlander down the line in the playoffs is like amazing. Most likely will be there by around that time, even if he gets a little setback now. But I mean, showing that these young guys can like pitch like this, is amazing. Like Garcia's next. Got to get him back on track.
And we talk about it all the time. It's one of the few pitching factories that exist in Major League Baseball. You have the Dodgers, the Astros, the Brewers, to a certain extent. You can now include the Yankees and the Guardians, the Rays. So now we're up to maybe 6 teams I might have mentioned right now. But look at the Javier, 13 strikeouts against 1 walk, 7 strong innings, no runs given up. He got a game score of 92, which is that has to be a high for him. It is a high for him, 92 game score. Wonder what that stands for, version 2. Because I think Baseball Reference has their own game score, maybe, and maybe this is Fangraph's version. But
Yeah.
either way, dominant performance, no hits, a collective no hitter for the Astros yesterday. Because if you can't get to their starting pitchers, their bullpen is just as freaking good as well. With Ryan Presley at the top of the closer's role, Rafael Montero, Ryan Stanek, Hector Neris. I mean, this is the Astros know what they're doing, man. I mean, you can say what you want about what they did in the past, but you cannot take away their developmental program that they got over there. It's amazing. They bring in everybody's trash and they turn them into gold. So,
and they're like the Rays of the West.
Well, Texas is Central Standard Time, but they are the AL West. You're right. It's a geography thing with me. Sorry, it's a geography thing with me. You know what? They touched the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll give them that. The Gulf of Mexico. It must be the water in the Gulf of Mexico, right?
I don't mean west in like the coast. I just mean like I'm the east. So it's just like that's west of me. So it's like Rays of the West.
Everything. So what is west to you? Is it everything outside of everything west of Ohio?
Geography, I'll say like west, central, like east. But I'm saying like for me as like someone on the East Coast, like the Astros are west of me. So it's like
literally it's west of
the Western United States, whatever. Central, okay.
You gotcha. Because I know that if it's so some people, if it's west of the Mississippi River, that's west. But I don't know, as a New Yorker up in Brooklyn, I would imagine what would be west to you? Would it be Detroit? Is anything west of Detroit is West Coast to you? Ohio?
Detroit's not even that far, like geographically from me.
Right.
That's more definitely central. But yeah, no, I don't even know, man. I don't really look at geography.
No, I'm a big geography person, so I'm always curious about that. The next guy up for the Yankees, who they're going to face in terms of facing the Astros. Yeah, this was supposed to be a New York centric podcast, and we're just more in awe of what the Astros have done in the last couple of days. But Jose Urquidy's the next guy up. Yep, and he's probably the easiest, quote unquote, easiest guy that the Yankees will probably face all weekend long. And he's also been a promising pitcher for them, but he is not as dominant as a Luis Garcia or even a Framber Valdez or a Christian Javier. So he's probably the weakest link of this group, but still, I mean, you don't want to sleep on him either. So, but let's take a look at the Yankees. I mean, we saw the lineup for the Astros. Now here's the Yankees lineup, and you can see LeMahieu at the top with Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, you guys should know who it is, what it is. I'm here, Jonathan Castellanos, Gleyber Torres, Aaron Hicks. It's a hell of a lineup, man. And I can see why people would say the Yankees lineup is a little bit better than the Astros. It's a differently built lineup. It's a modified lineup. You'll get the updates from Vince on a daily basis that this is probably his favorite Yankees lineup in a very long time, especially compared to like the last 2 or 3 years where everybody was just trying to hit home runs and not much of else. So this is a more well-balanced, well-varied lineup. I'm pretty sure you see it the same way, correct?
Yeah, no, I only have a few little tiny snippets on how I feel about the lineup and how it should be moved around a little bit, but I understand why they keep it this way. I mean, do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So I mean, this is not coming from like a Mets fan bias, like, so please take it as you will. The way I feel about their lineup is Judge and Stanton have just been amazing, obviously, right? But just Judge in general, didn't get the extension. Now he's like kind of just like proved himself on like a really big stage right now, the way he's playing. I just feel like these guys, they have guys in their lineup that are like, I'm going to compare this to the Mets a little bit, right? So if Judge or Stanton or both were on the Mets, right? Wouldn't you want like Nimmo batting in front of them, like Cano batting in front of them, guys that are getting on at a 350 to 400 clip or something? It's like, because think about like it's amazing to me that like Judge has as many like home runs as he does, but I think if you look at his RBIs, I'm pretty sure Alonso has more, right? I don't know if you could pull that up real quick. I don't see
yeah, hold on a minute. Just I made it really big so everybody else can see. Now I feel like I can't see all the stats. So you want to see the RBI leaders is what I'm hearing?
Yeah, well, just Judge's RBIs in general, because I know some.
Okay, yeah. Judge has. Oh, it's not here. I thought it would be here. All right, I can get to his page. Don't worry about it. So let's go take a look at Aaron Judge really quick. I mean, we know who Aaron Judge is. He's a premier outfielder. He's 30 years old, but he's, you know what? He's in a good position to age somewhat gracefully. He has a good batting eye, and right now he has 53 RBI for the season.
That's less RBIs than Francisco Lindor.
Yeah.
And Alonso has about 16 more than that. And that this is what my point is, that like Judge has literally 27, the league, MLB leading home runs, right? This guy's mashing the ball, but it's like he's doing it in places where there's really not people on base. And I get the point of like, he's your guy, like the lineup's working, right? They're hitting really well. They're doing Sands last night, but like if they just got like one guy that they put in ahead of him there, like that could just get on base like extremely reliably, like they're gonna score so many more runs than they already are, which is amazing to think about, that like they could score even more runs than they are right now.
Yeah. Well, counterpoint to all that, Aaron Judge is your best hitter. He leads the team with 307 plate appearances. So the more spins at the wheel he gets, the better it is for the Yankees. And although it doesn't show up in the RBI, it definitely shows up in other places. I mean, they're scoring more runs with him only driving in DJ LeMahieu, and then maybe, I don't know, Hicks or Kiner Falefa or Jose Trevino on the turn, maybe.
They're going for the second time at bat, which is like which is pretty obvious. But looking at this, they have believe it or not, Aaron Hicks has actually been getting on base at like a decent clip this year. I'm pretty sure for last
345, yeah.
Yeah, and like so like it's obvious that they're like relying on some of these guys at the bottom of the order to like get on, and then the second turn through the order, Judge will just like knock them in. But I understand. Like I see what they're going for. Not everybody has to have a lineup like the Mets do right now, where it's just like get on base. Okay, two guys that might just hit a home run or might bash a ball to the wall or hit a sac fly. Not every team has to be like that. We play more small ball. The Yankees are playing a different kind of baseball right now. I was just saying that I felt like personally that maybe if they just like you could keep Judge like 2 or 3, right? He'll still get a lot of the plate appearances, but he might, score a little bit more for them. And, in nights like maybe, where they're closer games, which hasn't really happened a lot because the Yankees are just destroying everyone they win against. But, that's something that I would say that if the Yankees start to struggle a little bit, that's a change I think I would like to see from them. And I think that would make a big difference for them in the long run. But, we'll see how things go near the deadline. Maybe they get a guy that gets on base at a 400 clip or something like that, just walks a ton.
They tried last time. I think they tried doing that with Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo, and it didn't work out too well for them. So, but hey, I mean, it is the Yankees. That is what they do. That's why you can't count them out. That they're constantly tweaking their lineup. Now, is this true? Last night, Aaron Judge was batting leadoff, or is this box score all?
He actually bats lead up a lot.
I know. Yeah, that's
what I'm trying to make. So it's possible he might have been there last night.
Wow. All right. Well, I mean, like again, they want to use him. This doesn't look right because now they got DJ LeMahieu batting at the bottom of the order. Oh, he pinch hit last night. That's why. Okay. So, I mean, it's this new, oh God, I'm going to get a lot. You're going to hear it from people. Oh, the analytics bullshit. But the Cubs did it with Anthony Rizzo too, where he was their best hitter and their best guy with the best plate approach and the highest on base percentage. If the name of the game is to get on base, then you want your best players and your best hitters to hit at the top of the order, if not at the very leadoff spot as well, to just get the ball rolling and get him more turns per at bat per turn on the order as well. So, and the results were bad last night, but I'm pretty sure that they've been pretty darn good for most of the season. Let me see here. I think they're the only team who has where the hell is it? Who have averaged more than 5 runs per game. And let's see. Yep, 5 runs right here. Oh wait, the Dodgers have more. Okay, never mind. But still, I mean, and the Americans
also are very up there too. They're like 4.1 something. Yeah,
pretty darn close. And the Giants too. Also, the Giants, even with their big ballpark, it doesn't matter to them. So
I hate the Giants.
Oh yeah, how did the Giants do this against the Mets recently?
Well, we won the season series against them, but their fans are unbearable. And every single time I go to, I got one of their Giants fans called me a homophobic slur at the game because they were like screaming for Jock Peterson all game in left field, and I told them to shut up. The whole section got them kicked out. They were throwing drinks and peanuts and bananas at them and stuff. That was a game and a half, but that was the doubleheader that we won with the Lindor walk-off and the Scherzer's first game at home. But man, that game, I despise the Giants, mostly because of the games that, like when I go to Citi Field, watch a Mets Giants game, there's always those fake ass Giants fans that show up and pretend like, oh yeah, I'm a Giants fan because I used to be in New York. You're like 25. That happened like when you were like not even when your parents weren't even born yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, why are you a Giants fan?
Well, my granddad used to watch them at the Polo Grounds.
Yeah. But I'm saying like you didn't though. You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, he was there genetically speaking. That's what it
Yeah.
was. So,
Yeah.
Judge did bat leadoff. He struck out twice. I mean, Javier is just amazing.
Yeah.
And when he's on, and he's unstoppable. I mean, we talk about him almost all the time on this podcast. But
Yeah.
Rizzo, Donaldson, and Stanton were the top four, and oh my God, they all struck out. Oh, 9 times. Four guys struck out 9 times collectively, and those are your top four hitters right there who could not figure out Christian Javier yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Just
it's crazy.
stuff. And they just weren't there for the breaking ball last night. They just weren't ready for it. Like the way I saw like some of these guys swinging at like the slider and the changeup and stuff last night, and it's like they're just not ready. Like I wonder, like, I mean, I don't have like the same, I don't know what website like those Twitter accounts use when they look at whiffs and all that kind of stuff, but
Yeah.
like that's, he was getting whiffs all over the board last night on those pitches. They just were not ready. I mean, listen, everybody's due for, a crap fest every now and then. So last night was the Yankees crap fest. You wake up, you go back tomorrow. Like that's, gotta move on.
Yeah, and I'm doing a little bit of gloating here. Not gloating. I'm being accused of gloating. I was curious to see if anybody, and because Javier, I picked him up in one of my. I tried picking him up everywhere, but I guess Javier has been hyped up so much that people were willing to wait for him. And I did pick him up early in the season in my points league, but my pitching staff was so decimated with injuries, I couldn't wait for the Astros to figure out if he should be starting or bullpenning or whatever. So I dropped him. He got picked up by actually a guy from South Jersey in our league. So I couldn't help but be curious. Was Javier started this week? I'm pretty sure he wasn't because it's the Yankees, but just out of curiosity. And he ends up scoring 36 big freaking points in our league.
Oh, wow.
And sure enough, my guy Primo, he benched them. So I just made a simple observation. Oh, and he benched them. Oh, nothing. I don't think it was anything too big. I don't think I was gloating. I was just kind of making an observation. I did add LOL at the end. So, oh my God, it's me. I'm gloating. Yeah. So now Primo's calling me out. Like, why are you even talking? Your team's top 500, even though I scored the fourth highest amount of points in this league. But okay.
Oh,
wow, that's some powerful stuff right there. You could most likely qualify as a CVS expert with these kind of witty remarks. Like, why a sub? Oh, and then he posted it twice because. He tried to delete it. Okay. Oh man, you could be, yeah. So I'm like, hey man, I'm just making a simple observation. And then of course my guy Stephen Carey, so who's facing him this week, goes, thanks for benching him, bud. I could, because it would have been over. That's 36 big points right there.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I don't know how many people watching this podcast play points leagues, but 36 is quite.
You get 36 points if you're lucky from your in a week from one of your starters. Or even hitters. 36 points is a lot, but you get it in one game. I mean, it's just brutal. It's brutal if you're the opposing team. So it's a close one. It's a tight one. I'm just pretty much, if you're listening, I'm just making a simple observation. That's all it is. I'm not gloating. I was just kind of curious to see whatever happened to Christian Javier after he left my team, and that's what happened. So whatever. And of course, you all know the Yankees pitching. I mean, it's not the most dominant of Yankee pitching history here. I mean, everybody knows who Garrett Cole is, but Nestor Cortez, Jordan Montgomery, Jameson Taillon, and Luis Severino. It's a hell of a ragtag team of starters, but they're getting the job done. And of course, we all know their bullpen, which is always the goods, and that's without Aroldis Chapman. And I'm kind of speeding here because I want to get to the Mets stuff, which is the reason why you're here. So let's go to the National League now. And the Mets, even though they're in first place, they only have a 12.4% likelihood of winning the World Series, according to Fangraphs, because at 13% are the Atlanta Braves. How do you like them apples there, James? Huh?
I mean, I honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you. I completely understand why. Yeah. I mean, listen, like the Mets, the way that they're playing the game right now, like this, like super small ball, it's great, right? But the problem is we've seen this already. It when we went through to the West Coast series against the Dodgers, we played more against the Giants. We just got 2 games swept by the Astros. It's like better teams don't really lose to that kind of game, right? So what's going to happen is, it's starting to be July now. Next weekend it's going to be July 1st. I don't know if you guys realize that means 30 days to the deadline. So, the Mets are going to start having to evaluate internal struggles, try to figure out like what their issues are. But we need, in my opinion, good DH. Some guy is going to scare the shit out of the pitchers coming up the bat. Can't just be Alonso and Lindor that scare pitchers. It's got to need one more really solid guy. Don't know who that'll be yet. We'll see some of the names because one thing people don't really realize is with the expanded playoffs, that also means an expanded amount of teams that think that they're still in it, and they're not going to really want to trade guys like that anymore. So how many teams can you really get people from? The Orioles, Diamondbacks, the Royals. There's not really a lot of teams left, and then who do those guys even have that you would want?
Yeah.
Nationals. So we're gonna have to evaluate that. But honestly, DH, A-level lefty reliever, and then just another good like righty reliever that we could just throw out there isn't named Drew Smith or Seth Lugo on our team. And I think we're that playoff chance that World Series chance will jump up a little bit. But right now, I as a Met fan, I'm willing to admit that our team is not built for a World Series right now. We have great talent on our team, but we split on the West. We split with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
We beat the Giants in the season series, but not super convincingly. And then the Astros just wiped the floor with us the other day. So we'll have to see how we played against them this week. We first game on Tuesday. I'm actually going to be going to the game with Sean.
Oh,
Alabama
okay.
Sean. So we're a little. We'll have to see how that series goes, but. The Mets have a very strong foundation right now, and that's what's winning them games. But they really need to add a couple of key pieces if they really want that number to go up. But the Braves, man, I can admit as a Met fan that those Braves are scary.
Yeah.
I'm scared. We haven't really played them that much this year. We played them once at the beginning of the season, and Acuna's back now. I really wish we played a lot of games against them at the beginning, like we did with the Phillies and stuff before Acuna comes back. But Albies now is out. Broke his foot on a swing somehow. Very heartbreaking. That definitely hurts to see. But Acuna is definitely scary. They have a scary outfield.
And not just that, but the Braves will just go ahead and they're finding replacements everywhere now. We talked about. Well, let's talk about the Mets first. I want to have a certain order here, but here's the Mets lineup right now. Nimmo still doesn't give you any counting stats, but he does bring the solid slash line, this triple slash line. That's his game. That's always been Nimmo, and he is perfect on top for that top of the order there for this Mets team. And then Starling Marte, who even at 30, well, he's about to be 34 soon. It looks like he could still be an electrifying hitter. I don't know if I would bat him second. I don't even know where I would bat him
I don't agree with it either.
at the top of the order.
I think it should be Nimmo Canna every day.
Yeah, that makes more sense, Canna. Although Canna, I guess if you're batting a guy second, doesn't matter if he's slugging the ball or not. But at any rate, what's that? I'm sorry.
I look at the on base percentage. So he gets on base more than Nimmo does.
Yeah,
and he averages like a 5.4 or something like that pitches per at bat. If you have that guy getting up to bat 4 or 5 times a game, how long is that starter really going to stay in if you have Nimmo, Canna back to back?
It's crazy.
Marte, I get why they have Marte second. Nimmo is really the guy that's getting on base, and if Marte gets a little bloop single and gets on first, you could just score from first on a deep ball from Lindor or Alonso or something. It's those when you watch the games every day, it's hard to see from a counting stats perspective or just looking at the stat line, but Marte being second and having that speed, the amount of runs that are scored between him and Nimmo are I remember some crazy stat a while back. I wish I took a picture of it. It was something 35% or something like that of the runs scored in the Mets are either Nimmo or Marte or something like that, or some crazy number. It's just they're always scoring, and it's
right.
they're almost half the Mets run production alone. It's crazy. But I personally, with the way the Mets are playing, I think if Canna got moved up to number 2, it's still the lefty righty switch righty, left it would be crazy for the Mets. It's not super slow. So
yeah. But you can even make a case that maybe Lindor should be the one batting second, or get an exciting bat, because Canna is a solid, skillsy guy. But maybe they're trying to do some versatility here by having Nimmo and then maybe one of these two guys who are kind of electrifying. Although I would bat Lindor second, but that's just me. I always go for the younger guy rather than the old guy. And then Alonso batting cleanup, which that he's a traditional cleanup hitter there. So McNeil having a pretty darn good year so far this year. Again, the counting stats don't show it, but triple slash on is just off the world right now, man.
Yeah.
And I know that's a guy that Sean absolutely loves. And then Eduardo Escobar, that was a big controversial pick for you in the Baseball Life League.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but he's not on my team anymore.
Yeah, you just traded him away, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but we'll get to it in just a bit. And then Luis Guillorme, who looks like he's in a platoon with JD Davis. So, no, it's a hell of a lineup. I loved it. I've always liked the Mets, how they were built in years past, and it just kind of was a head scratcher to me as to why they haven't found more success. And I guess the injuries pile up, and that takes effect. And I've never been a big believer of the Braves, but I'm a believer now. I mean, you win the World Series, and now you go on a 14-game winning streak at one point, and now you're knocking on the door for the Mets, and you have a better percentage of winning the World Series according to Fangraphs than the team that's leading the division. So that's the way most of us in the Vince Mercandetti's, Henry Maldonado's, Sean's, and Austin. That's how we had it. Most of us had the Braves ahead of the Mets, although I think Sean might have picked the Mets because he's a Mets fan. But no. But no, I mean, Dominic Smith's on your bench, and I know he's not doing very well, but I always feel bad for Dom Smith because I always feel like if you were on a team that just would give him regular playing time, he would flourish like he did in 2020. Yeah. But even with the DH, he's not playing a lot, which is really surprising me.
I mean, he was at the beginning though. He was playing like at least 2 out of every 3 games during like the beginning of the season, and he didn't do anything. So it's like, I get it. Like if he was on another team, maybe he had different people around him, or just like was able to play first base every day. Because that's another thing you got to think about. He's playing left, or he's playing DH. Like but it's like I hate fans who are Met fans. A lot of Mets fans are like, oh, we just got to let Dom play. Where? Like, who are you going to sit for Dom Smith?
It's a very deep team. You can't do it. I mean,
you got like 3 guys that are that are playing like silver slugger level baseball right now at their positions. Like, where do you want him to play? Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Okay, he just doesn't have room. It's like you just got to like. And I don't even know if teams are going to want him at this point. He hasn't homered since like July of last year.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's not young anymore. So he's already 27 years old. So he's not even you could make a case that he's maybe a late blooming prospect who showed what he could do in 2020. But as we saw in 2020, the balls were a little bit different back then. So it's a lot of question marks for Dom Smith, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know. I always liked him. I just always felt like if with more playing time with another team, he would have flourished already. But with the Mets, he's just a bench piece because the team's always been pretty deep. It's just lack of performance and injuries to certain players have really derailed their success because the numbers show every year the Mets should be better than what they are. The Mets should be making the playoffs every year, and instead they just see everybody else make the playoffs. They see every team in their division win the World Series. The Nationals, the Braves, the Marlins already twice in the last 20 years or so, 30 years now. Yeah. So anyway, I'm missing a team here. Who's the other guy? The other team? The Phillies. Oh, the Phillies also won. In 2008, I believe, right?
They won. Didn't they win in 2012?
No. The Phillies never won again, man. They won it one time. I think it was 2008 that they won it, and then they lost to the Yankees in 2009. Yeah, and it was all downhill from there.
Man, that team was crazy too. I remember. Yeah. That. I used to, before Chase Utley broke Ruben Tejada's legs, I used to be a huge Chase Utley fan.
Yeah.
For a long time, even as a Met fan.
I still love Chase Utley, not because he broke Ruben Tejada's leg, but. But no, I don't like that either. But anyway, here's your pitching rotation. You're missing a lot of big names, but they're holding steady, man. They're holding steady.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how the Mets have been playing this year without Jacob deGrom for all of it, and then without Scherzer for about 2 months now. I mean, so insider Mets information, Scherzer was gonna start today against the Marlins, but they wound up making him go one more turn in rehab against the in a AAA or double A. I'm not sure where right now, whoever's home.
Right.
But then he's going to make his next turn in the rotation, in the majors. So we'll have him in 5 days from today, which is great. McGill went down again, but to be fair, where's McGill even going to be when DeGrom and Scherzer both come back? Peterson already was not really going to have room, but unless any of these guys go down to injury that are on this list right now, McGill doesn't really have anywhere to go. I mean, unless they do DeGrom goes 5 innings, McGill comes in for 3 or something like that. I don't know what the Mets will do. They've shown to be a very modern team with the way, which is very surprising to me, like how Buck has like handled the team. It looks very modern. They piggybacked Peterson and McGill like one time. They brought Diaz in the 8th, like 2 days while we were on that West Coast trip. Like, I don't know. I like the way they're playing, and it's possible they could go for something like that. But I doubt we're going to do a 6-man rotation while we have a man named Mad Max on the team. So,
and then you don't want that. I mean, it makes sense for like a team like the Astros or even the Brewers to do it because of reasons. I mean, we talk about the Astros. Yeah, they have a really good starting pitching, but they also have Justin Verlander, who needs a little bit more time and stretching out coming back from Tommy John surgery. But yeah, Max Scherzer, yeah, he's always ready to go. The other thing, before I forget, maybe it's time to add the Mets as that other pitching factory here in Major League Baseball, as it seems like, I mean, look at these guys that you see here. I mean, maybe not so much Chris Bassett, but at the very least, Carlos Carrasco and Taijuan Walker. I'm not going to call them reclamation projects, but they definitely have some sort of resurgence to their career since joining the Mets.
I want to tweak that word a little bit. It's a Hefner factory here, because our pitching development is really not that great. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like when they get to the majors and they could work with Hefner, then things change. But like,
interesting.
I don't like our development as a whole, like from the bottom. I don't really think it's up there. And Sean could probably disagree with me there, but
he probably will. Yeah.
But I honestly, once they get to the majors and Hefner works with them, the Hefner slider, if you look at Taijuan Walker's like, his whiffs on his pitches and just like how like his pitch percentage now, like he's throwing the slider way more. He's barely throwing the fastball anymore. And it's like even Carrasco, his slider has been disgusting this year. And it's like, you wonder why these guys are pitching better. But you look at last year and this year, like the kind of the pitch makeup that they're throwing and like the percentages, they're throwing way more sliders, and they're all disgusting because Hefner has always preaches the slider, teaches it well. Guys like Colin Holderman, like who even knew who the fuck Colin Holderman was before he came to the majors? Nobody. And now he was up here and he did amazing and he had great stuff, and it's because he's working with Hefner. So it's like, yes, like we'll bring guys to the majors and they get to work with Hefner for a little bit and then things happen. But that's why I'm really down for the Mets trading for someone like possibly Castillo, but I doubt that'll happen. It's too much that we'd have to lose for that. But I could see Tyler Mahle coming here, and who knows, working with Hefner for a little bit, maybe he'll get some past success back.
Yeah. Get more consistent.
Yeah. The Mets are definitely up there in terms of like pitching, like, people going there, and like, I think they're more like the Rays, if that makes sense. They show up in the majors and then they get to work with the major league development team, and then they turn into something that they weren't before. Like that is what I would say more. But when you're in the minors there, like we don't really develop pitchers that well anymore in the minors.
All right, that's a fair assessment. And like I said, I maybe it's because I get the Mets bias from Sean, so I always feel like, oh well, the Mets they'll take care of it. But yeah, this is Sean's guy, Thomas Zabuki, who he mentioned a couple actually last month to be exact. Last month he mentioned him as a under the radar minor league pitcher that we should be paying attention to. And of course he gets called up, and I believe he had a horrible time in his one start. Is that?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, he was playing the Giants, the biggest platoon of the entire major leagues. They crushed lefties there. Just a lefty not throwing not great stuff, and he just got shelled. What do you expect? It's a hard game to pitch for your first, one of your first games this season. He came up last year for little points and didn't really do well either. So I don't know. He definitely still has potential, but he's not the guy we thought he was 3 years ago. So
yeah, that was the assessment that. Well, it wasn't the exact assessment, but Sean was pretty much saying, maybe he figured things out. Maybe he's finally coming into his own. Maybe he's just late blooming. So keep an eye on him. And I kept an eye on him, and I didn't like what the results were, but we'll see what happens. As you can see, he is someone that he is on the 40-man roster. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a second or third chance later this year. Let's quickly look at the Braves, and then we can move on to your team. It's they were just waiting on Ronald Acuna to get back, and he ended up proving to be a big difference on that lineup. As it just seems like since he's been back, that the Braves have just been firing on all cylinders. Dansby Swanson is having a career year, and he's in a contract year as well. So obviously he's extra motivated for this season. Austin Riley has become a revelation for them at as a power infielder, along with Matt Olson, who he's not making people forget Freddie Freeman anytime soon. But I don't know. I honestly have not seen the numbers to see if Freddie who's having a better season, whether it's Freddie Freeman or Matt Olson. But it is what it is. I mean, Matt Olson is going to be with this team for a while. That's the bet that they decided to make for themselves. So they're going to roll with it. Travis d'Arnaud, who's I guess he's finally healthy, and Marcell Ozuna still not hitting up to potential, but he's in the lineup. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of question marks here, in that maybe the Mets lineup is a tad better, but they did bring up Michael Harris, who that is the big reason why the Braves were more than happy to get rid of Christian Pache, because they had a lighter version of him, a fat-free version of Christian Pache in Double-A, and they said, you know what, kid, let's go Double-A, straight to the majors. And he's also been an igniter for that team as well. And that means that Adam Duvall no longer has to play the center field. He could go to left field now. Yep, there he is, left field. And it's really been the big difference there. And then of course the emergence of he's not a rookie, sorry, of backup catcher William Contreras. And well, the rest are the rest, whatever. I mean, there's a Yankee reference with Mike Ford here, right? He used to be a Yankee, Mike Ford, right?
And we have like multiple Mets as well, I think.
Yeah, d'Arnaud is one, and who else would be?
I think it's just d'Arnaud. Yeah, I was talking about how I hated Swanson before, but that has nothing to do with the Mets. I just don't like him. From a fantasy standpoint. Also, he's always been. I don't know. He's a good fantasy player, but he's just a garbage.
I don't trust him. I don't think this is real. This is all fake right here.
He always gets good counting stats in like category leagues and stuff, though, because like he bats in front of Acuna, Riley, like was Freeman in the past. Like he's gonna score a lot. He's gonna get a lot of like inflated numbers, but
right.
I've never been a Swanson guy, but I mean he's doing really well this year. So I actually had a trade proposed to me earlier in the year, not necessarily not in our league, but a different league, for it was Swanson for McNeil straight up in a categories league, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I mean, honestly, like if I had taken it, I still probably might have been happy, even though McNeil's having the year that he has right now. Like it's, he's having a great year. I just don't really like him. I don't know. I don't trust him at all. But one thing to note about this lineup, though, is this their like everyday kind of lineup? Because
I don't think it's their everyday lineup. I think it's just a general lineup. I don't know how roster resource computes it, but I want to. I mean, we could take a look. Let's see here. The last six lineups. So it's usually Acuna batting leadoff, and then Swanson. I mean, you can see that right here, batting second always. And then there's like a mix of Matt Olson and Austin Riley, kind of flipping back and forth for those 3-4 spots. d'Arnaud will be batting fifth unless he bats second against a lefty, probably. Wow. But yeah, d'Arnaud is their fifth hitter, which is weird to me. And then Ozuna is a DH now because he can't be trusted in the outfield. He usually bats below, I don't know, anywhere between fifth and sixth, sometimes third against lefties, I guess. Orlando Arcia, who's replacing Ozzy Albies, he'll be batting in the bottom of the order. Same thing with Adam Duvall, who's their big, hefty power hitting. Yeah. And of course, I don't like this. Michael Harris batting at the bottom of the order, but I understand why he has to bat in the bottom of the order. I still don't like it. I think he's too much of an exciting player to be batting behind. But hey, it's been working for them. So who am I to know? And then, of course, the bench pieces. I mean, Contreras will also, I guess he'll also be out there against left-handed pitchers, I should say. And I don't know. I just feel like the Mets have a deeper bench in their offense as well. So, but it's they're firing on all cylinders at the moment. The Braves are, so yeah, it's working. And then there's their rotation here very quickly, so we can move on here. We all know who these guys are. The one guy you most people won't know about is Spencer Strider, who did start out of the bullpen. But I remember in the offseason, I told Austin and Sean, hey, I feel like Spencer Strider, and maybe Sean mentioned this, I don't remember, but I know that when I looked at the projections, I go, hey, maybe the Spencer Strider could be someone that we could target very, very, very late in the draft, depending on what the Braves end up doing. Now, he started out of the bullpen. So if you're in a holds league, maybe you might have considered him, but I just always kept him in mind, like, hey, this Spencer Strider guy might be something. And sure enough, he did become something. And because of the little extra research I did in the offseason, I was able to pick him up in 2 out of my 3 leagues. So, excuse me. So that's the guy you should. Now, the thing with Strider is, though, he's a 2-pitch pitcher. You, of all people, should know how susceptible they are to just being so limited to because of their stuff, because of their number of pitches, fastball slider combination that he owns over there. I don't know. I mean, can the Braves continue to survive on a 2-pitch pitcher being in the rotation?
I mean, if he's, as long as he's not, like the guy, I feel like it's not that bad. I mean, you see like, people like Joey Lucchesi also like being like a 2-pitch pitcher. Um, obviously he's hurt for a really long time now, but I mean, as long as he's like not the guy you're looking at, like as being like he needs to be like one of our top 3, like, I think it's okay. You just, those 2 pitches need to be very good, and they need to be
Yeah,
executed well. And because it's just like, well, he's either throwing me a fastball or he's throwing me, a slurve right now. So it's like, what am I hitting? What am I looking for? And it's like, but then there's also people like Chris Bassett that throw 6 pitches and they still get pieced up every now and then, So it's like, is it really like the amount of pitches you have doesn't really matter. It's just how well you execute those pitches. So
yeah,
I guess it's really a testament. We'll have to see how he does it and, over time. But I think for the Braves, like it matters a little bit more, because if you look at their rotation, they have Charlie Morton, Kyle Wright, Ian Anderson. And Morton's been good his last 2 starts, but I mean, he's either going to go out there and, give up 6 runs but strike out like 10 people, and or he's going to go out there and give up 0 runs and strike out 10 people or something like that. So it's like,
yeah,
can you really have a guy who, basically there's a lot more pressure on Strider in this rotation to like be solid. So,
yeah.
he's got to execute those pitches really well if he's going to strive on a team like that.
And then the emergence of Kyle Wright as well, who became a kind of a prospect afterthought for the Braves, and now he's solidified himself in that 5-man rotation. And of course, we all know who Ian Anderson is.
Yep.
They bring in Kenley Jansen, free agency agent. Minter's having a good season as well. I think he also leads the league in holds, if I remember correctly.
He's like right there. I think he's below Devin Williams now, but he's
yes,
he's right up there.
Will Smith, not slapping people around. He's still bona fide. I think he's in a right role now as a late inning guy, as opposed to just the main closer. I think this is a role that he can thrive, especially against left-handed hitters and teams who have left-handed heavy lineups. Colin McHugh always brings the goods, and he looks like he's finally healthy. And then we all know who Darren O'Day. God, Jesus, they're depending on nearly 40-year-old pitchers to get them on a day-to-day basis. It seems like, but yeah, I mean, that's I'm not gonna doubt anything that the Braves do. I mean, seems to be a team that knows what the hell they're doing. And they're still waiting on Mike Soroka, who I don't, you know what? I don't think he's coming back. I think he's done.
Yeah. Even if he did come back, where is he going to go at this point?
Right. And then this is all the guys that they have that were injured. So it's just a testament to how quickly they're very good at replacing their arms. There's a lot of injuries here to their bullpen. These are some big names that kind of helped it over the years. Maybe not so much Kirby Yates, but Tyler Matzek was one of those guys, and so was Luke Jackson, who was there from the very beginning of this little contending window that they have. And Braves, they just go out and find other guys that can pick up the pace where those other guys leave off, and you're seeing it. They're just 5 games behind the Mets.
Like 4.5, I think, as of last night.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it 5? Oh, okay.
I'm seeing 5 here. I don't know.
4.5 before the Braves game ended last night. That's
and they're one of the hottest teams in all of baseball right now. So, and that is the Mets, the Braves. That is the real baseball aspect of the thing. One more thing I wanted to mention. So here's the 13% for the Braves, 12.4% for the Mets to win the World Series out of the National League. But the main team to take it all, the teams you guys got to go through, the LA Dodgers. Yeah. Even though they're struggling too, and they're not even a tougher division, not to diss the NL East, but when you guys got the Giants, the Padres to kind of fend off, and then you never know what to expect out of the Diamondbacks, although it looks like their chances are kind of floundering over there. They're at 0.1% to make the playoffs. So, yeah. Well, let's have some fun really quick. Let's look at these 0.1 percenters just for giggles. Diamondbacks, Cubs, and let's say the Marlins too. Why not? Make it even. No, that's too easy. Let's just, for giggles, humor me a little bit. Cubs or Diamondbacks, who is more likely to make the playoffs?
Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Diamondbacks. Okay, good answer.
I'm
Good answer.
sorry, Felipe. I know you're a Cubs fan
Oh,
too,
I
but
don't care. This is a
I,
trash team, man.
yeah,
I know what's up. I know what's up.
the difference there for me is that the Diamondbacks are 0.1% because they're playing a bunch of young guys that like just need to figure it out. The Cubs, they know what they have, and it's just it's not working.
Oh, it's trash. It's not even a
Look at
young team. Like, oh, we're rebuilding. Like, really? Where's our rebuilding pieces? Because all I see are a
Patrick
bunch
Wisdom
of
at like 30 years old in his second
yeah.
season in the majors. Like,
Like these guys better get traded all during the deadline. I mean, what's his face? Jed Hoyer and company better be just on those phones getting rid of this crap because we can't. No, you can't fool me. This is not a real rebuild. This is just the owner not wanting to spend any freaking money and using the whole rebuilding word just to kind of justify it. But where's the rebuild? And
yeah.
where's our Javier Baez's of the world? Where's our Chris Bryant's? Where's our Anthony Rizzo's in the minor leagues?
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, that's
I'm
a
gonna be
different
honest with
topic.
one of the trades I thought that I could see happening for the Mets this year was like, one or two like mid-level prospects or like a couple mid-level prospects for like Patrick Wisdom. Like I honestly like it would be really weird.
But you already have JD Davis.
Yeah, we have JD Davis hitting 114 miles an hour and not getting hits. Like so, like I'm just saying, like they're because what's gonna happen is the Mets are gonna look for trades. They're gonna look for like a big power bat, someone who's gonna come up and be scary for pitchers, and they're gonna call like, hey, you guys what do you want for this? What do you want for this? And people hate Cohen to begin with, and they always ask for fucking bullshit ass trades like Pete Crow Armstrong for Javier fucking Baez and Trevor Williams. But they're always going to ask for BS trades, and they're going to wind up missing out on every single top name player, and then they're going to have to settle for someone like Patrick Wisdom. So, that's what's going to happen. So I'm not getting my hopes up, but I'm just saying that was one of my like very low end on the what we might do in the trade deadline.
And then the last batch here, these are teams that are less than 1% of making the playoffs. So who do you like to make the playoffs here? Orioles, Tigers, or Royals?
Well, just because of like who the Orioles have to play every day, I think they're 0% chance. I would say either any of the Tigers or the Royals. I think
Pick one.
I would lean a little bit more towards the Tigers. I think I'm a little bit higher on them with how
Okay.
they built this year. But the Royals, you know how they are. They spend zero money. That's why I want to give that to the Tigers a little bit more because at least they're trying a little bit more than the Royals are in that aspect. So I'll say Tigers for that one.
I think I would like the Royals here just for the simple fact that the Tigers, they brought up all their big name prospects and they haven't done anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a second half surge. Maybe around the second half, these young guys will, we figured things out and it's clicking. And maybe Jeimer Candelario can be the decent hitting third baseman I thought he could be. And then, Miguel Cabrera, gets, motivated to be his old self again, at least for one more month, and lead the charge into the playoffs and against Guardians team and White Sox team that are also not really trying. They're just kind of playing down to their competition, and maybe the Twins are due for a swoon. So maybe the Royals can pick up the pace. They're slowly but surely building a pitching rotation that might be decent. They have some bullpen arms that might be decent. And why not? Why not the Royals if we are going to be looking for some Cinderella teams here this season? So there you go. All right. Now the real draw in the next 20 minutes or so that we have. We got to ask, you are the league leader. You're pacing us right now there, James, of the Baseball Life Fantasy Baseball League. I believe you're still in first place by maybe 4 games?
Actually, it's me and Jacob were tied as of the last period, and it was me versus Jacob for the last period, and I walked away with the dub. So I'm in the sole leader of first place by about 1 game right now.
Oh my God!
I believe you're on my tail by about 2 games.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got off to a bad stretch there, but come on, you can't count me out, bro. You can never count me out.
You out. I'm afraid.
Damn right you're not.
Because I think you'll screw me over somehow because you know more.
Well, you beat me. You beat me recently, though, very handily, I might say. So you have the advantage there. But here are the standings. I mean, Sean already did this maybe a few weeks ago, but just an update because we do have James here. There it is. James' team up at top. This is Jacob's team, who's been having an amazing year so far this year. And there's my team, who's just patchworking at an offense and pitching. There's Mike Harvey. There's Henry, who started from the bottom and now he's in 5th place. And of course, Leon. We have a couple of guys, Leon and Jacob, from the basketball podcast in the top 6. And then, of course, there's Sean's loser ass team over there in 7th at a 500.
How much this league has changed.
Yeah.
5 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I something I've been trying to do more often is do it by, let me see if I could do it here. There usually gives me an option to do it by date. So I've been kind of narrowing it down since Memorial Day weekend. So since May 30th till now, see what the standings are. And let's go back to regular season.
Yeah, Andrew's team has been great recently too. Very under the radar. He went from about 2nd place, or 2nd to last place, to like middle of the pack now, tied with a bunch of you guys in there.
Well, this is what it looks like since Memorial Day. So Mike Harvey has just been on a tear recently. And even though Henry is on a 2-game losing streak, he's gone 6-2 since Memorial Day weekend. Remember, we're in a semi-weekly league here, guys. So that's why there's all those games that we played so far. And there's Andrew Sullivan, who you just mentioned, 6-2. There you are at 5-3, holding steady. Jacob holding steady. Aaron starting from the bottom and now working her way to 6th since Memorial Day weekend. And then there's the fantasy experts right here, 4-4. We suck. We don't know what we're talking about. Oh, and then Mario, also Mr. Fantasy Expert, 2-6. So
yeah, I think he's just not paying attention to the league, because I my Depoto ass was looking for trades for quite a few weeks, and he was just like missing people in his lineup. Like he just didn't have people starting, or people were injured and stuff. So
hey, well, like I said, he's the fantasy expert. I mean, he's usually. He's more of a set it and forget it guy, and he'll maybe chime in because he doesn't believe in making too many transactions, because he believes that the guys he drafted were the correct guys and that all they need is a little bit of time. I mean, he looks at these leagues like a portfolio, and I could nudge him and say, "Hey, Mario, you want to fix your lineup here?" But I don't want to wake up a sleeping giant. So you guys can go and wake up a sleeping giant. I'm not doing it. So I'm never gonna doubt Mario or count him out. If he wants to win and prove that his system works, he needs to make some changes. But if the game is for him to play the long game and wait for some of these guys to pick up some games and prove themselves and show that they are who they are, then more power to them. But yeah, meanwhile, he's just falling out. So it's up to him. And then if we want to quickly go to the season, the roto stats, which is always a big indicator as to how performance is based on the scoring categories that we have. And there's Andrew O'Sullivan at the very top since Memorial Day. And there's and then so you talk about bad luck. Here's Sean, who was at the bottom of the order in terms of the win-loss record, but his team should be much better than it has shown.
Yeah.
So, and then Aaron in 3rd since Memorial Day. There's Mike Harvey, who's showing that his good record is not a fluke. Same thing with Jacob. Same thing with you. We're tied, actually. You and I are tied for 6th place.
Yeah.
So, and then the luckiest guy since Memorial Day weekend has been Henry. Even though at the beginning, Henry had the worst luck. That's why he was in last place. But all the roto standings show that he should be better than that. And now since Memorial Day weekend, it's reversed. He's had a really good record, but probably more luck-based than skill-based based on the roto standings. So it's just weird how this league kind of works. But we are here. So I've been meaning to ask, what I know we talked about maybe a little bit of this back when you were on back in March or April after our draft. But now it's late June. What do you think has been the big difference maker for your team this year, leading the league and all that?
So I think for me, I was a little bit more willing to take risks this year. So I kind of like one of my big draft things that I did was just, not being afraid to take a couple of risks. Obviously you're going to get your top 5-10 picks or whatever. They're going to be like what you're going to get for them kind of guys, right? We had 6 keepers this year.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of those guys are already on your team. I didn't really have them because something that I don't think I mentioned last time, but this team wasn't my own. I picked this up in the middle of the season in about 2019, I believe, right? When I came
no, I believe since we switched over to this format, you've been in this league.
Yeah, but I joined it late in one. No, I wasn't. If the first year you had Fantrax, I joined in July.
No, that doesn't sound right. I feel like you've been a part of this league, of this keeper league format since the very beginning. Because I think we switched over to Fantrax in 2020,
I
and
might
then
have
the
heard
pandemic
this
happened,
thing.
and that kind of delayed things. But I might be wrong. My memory might be hazy. As we might have a mixed history here, but I feel like you've been a part of this for a long time. Because I don't. I mean, who would you have replaced at that point?
No,
I don't.
somebody left the league and they didn't want their team anymore, and I joined in like halfway through.
That must
I
have been
think
during the
at this point,
ESPN years, man.
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
I
Because
could
I'm
double
telling
check.
you, like the players that I had on
Mhm.
my team were just like Goldschmidt and Yelich and stuff. Like they were on my team already when I like joined,
Mm.
and I just like I remember I made like a bunch of trades and stuff like that. I don't remember being on ESPN with you guys.
Mm. All
I think
right.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever. Point is like I drafted even if it was my team, I drafted horribly. I didn't really have a good team.
Uh-huh.
But last year I made a lot of trades, specifically with I made one big one with Erin last year. It was like the big pieces were Springer and Betts, and I wound up getting Betts. She got Springer, and now my team is extremely solid. But I
Yeah.
think the biggest indicator for me was this year's draft. I had my keepers. I had Goldschmidt. I had sadly Michael Conforto. um, I had Mookie Betts, Yelich, and Max Fried. I think I'm missing one. I can't remember who the other one is. But Xander Bogarts. So
Okay. That's a
six.
hell of a
So
lineup there. Yeah.
yeah, I had pretty strong people on my keepers already, so I just filled in the holes here and there. But I took chances on guys like McNeil, who
Mhm.
didn't really have a great year last year, very injury ridden. Um, I took a chance on I picked up like Charlie Morton and like Carrasco and stuff like that, like guys I feel like could have like sneaky years. I got Nestor Cortez at the beginning of the year too. A lot of people were down on me on that one as well.
Yeah.
Um, who else? I mean, I got Varsho very early. I took a risk on how early I picked
Yeah, I
Varsho
know.
to
Yeah.
get catching ahead. But believe it or not, I don't know if you saw on my roster, but Varsho I traded. Um,
Yes, I think so.
so that's been the other thing. Is like my philosophy as what I've been doing that I believe worked the most for me was I every day, I go into work, I'm on the train, I have to, and I'm like, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at the waiver wire and I'm going to look at the players that are in the trends right now, getting picked up a lot, getting dropped a lot, whatever, see like what's happening, and then trying to like shape my roster positions or my roster additions based on that. And at the beginning of the year, I picked up Jeremy Pena right after he got called up. Nobody had him in their minor spots, so I've had him on my league, my team all year, and he's been amazing for
Yeah.
me. Uh, Very recently, Jet dropped Jesse Winker.
Oh no.
His team was struggling very hard, and he couldn't afford to keep Winker anymore. And I picked him up, and I wrote this in my notes. But since I have picked him up, I think I picked him up like about 14 days ago. But over his last 30 days, I was being a little generous and including like his like struggles a little bit. But for our league, he has a 256 average with a 412 on base percentage over his last 30 games, 4 homers, 14 RBIs, and 24 walks.
Hmm.
So, and that's his last 30 days. If you look at his last 7 days, he has 2 of those home runs were this last week. He has like almost like 10 RBIs in the last 7 days. Like he's picking it up. And it was because my team was able to afford, having a guy that wasn't really hitting that well, being, sitting in the shadow of Mookie Betts, Paul Goldschmidt, Sander Bogarts, Jeff McNeil. Like I was able to afford that and it's paying off for me. So like pay attention to your waiver wire. Don't be afraid to take risks in some trades that might seem scary. Like Dalton Varsho, J Rod, Nestor Cortez, and Christian Yelich for Ketel Marte, Carlos Rodon, Luis Castillo, and Jose Trevino. That was one of the more recent trades I did. And I also just traded with Jet, Devin Williams, and Ezekiel Duran for Eduardo Escobar and Ryan Presley. Because I already have 2 closers on my team and I needed holds really bad and someone
Yeah.
who wasn't going to hurt me. And now my team is going to be even stronger with that in my background. So it's like take risks, check the waiver wire, check the trends, see who's getting picked up, see who's getting dropped, make your decisions based on that. That's the best thing I've done so far. That's what's helped so much. Like just guys that I picked up along the way that have been some of my best players. I had Juan Yepez for a long time. He was doing amazing stuff with the Cardinals. I picked up Jonah Heim, the catcher for the Rangers, who like doesn't play that often, but
Mhm.
if anything, that's better for the catcher role because usually you're going to get hurt by catchers. So someone who doesn't play that often and doesn't suck when they do play, hits his homers, he has some power, hits for average. He's been doing well there. Jeremy Pena, if I wasn't paying attention to the pickups and drops, I wouldn't have noticed that nobody had him. Picked him up, he's had an amazing season. Um, who else? Like I was saying, like I picked up other pitchers like along the year going on as well.
Really quick, I just want to say, so the real secret is that you need a job that allows you to get on the train.
Or just spend 5 minutes at night just looking at the free agent pool and like who's getting picked up by a lot of people. Like
Mhm.
the trends report and waiver wires. Winker, waiver wire. If I was paying attention to the waiver wire, I wouldn't have gotten him. So it's like you gotta just spend time to win.
Yeah, I mean, people say, well, it's always a big controversy. Weekly leagues, daily leagues. People think that daily leagues are better, and that weekly leagues are for lazy people or whatever. But I mean, we're in semi-weekly leagues, and you said it. It doesn't matter. You put in the work. You got to do your research. You got to look up things. You got to make it into a habit. I mean, it looks like you're going on overdrive there. Um, Not that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just sounds like you're really trying this. Like you just want to go for it, and you're doing your homework every night. It seems like every day. I mean, it's what I want to hear. I want to hear that. I want to hear that. Hey, I'm freaking trying here. If I make the moves that don't work, at least I'm trying. I'm not giving up. And you do have a solid lineup, and it looks like all your work has paid off this year. Because you were at one point like just beating the crap out of all of us. Unfortunately for you, I mean, this is a league full of killers, right? I mean, you just saw the standings and all that. So even through all that hard work, doesn't always guarantee success.
Yeah.
But at least you're trying. I mean, you're going down swinging, is what I'm trying to say, with trades and timely waiver wire pickups and all that. And
Yeah.
there's your team again. I was looking to see the history of this stupid league and see when did you sign up, when did you start here, and I can't find it. Maybe that's more of a Sean question, but I feel like you've been in this league since the very beginning, but I can't find any record of that. But at any rate, there's your bench, Joey Votto. Let's go to your pitching rotation. So you're still gonna believe in Luis Castillo. I don't know. I always feel like Luis Castillo is really bad, and then I see like the 1.137 WHIP and the 371 ERA. Like, oh, maybe he's not as bad as I thought he was, but I don't know. I'd
Yeah.
be
I
I'd
mean,
be
that was
freaking
part of the
out.
trade that I got Rodon for. And like it was my issue there was that me and Andrew was kind of just like very even-sided trade. It was like he needed hitting,
Yeah.
specifically outfield, and I really needed pitching. Like I had like three guys that were solid, and then I had like people like Carrasco and Morton and stuff that either like were electric or they sucked. And I
Ah,
just needed like one more solid guy. And I got Rodon and Castillo back. So it's like my pitching is way more stacked now. And my hitting hasn't really suffered from the guys that I lost, like Varsho and J Rod. Like, yeah, they're electric, but that's not really what I needed. So three of my losses, I had three losses that in the last like 30 days, I think, when you were just looking up, or since Memorial Day.
yeah.
And two of those losses were ties.
Hmm.
And it was because my hitting was amazing and my pitching sucked, and I tied. So it was like, that's why I made that trade. It was like I could afford, like J Rod's not carrying my hitting and neither is Varsho. So it's like, why don't I offload those two guys and get the thing that was hurting my team? And it was the pitching. And now my team has been a lot stronger. And I noticed another weakness with holds. My holds, I always picked up random guys for holds, and
Yeah.
they always had blow up games and they would always hurt my pitching stats. So I was like, no, let me trade for holds. And I did.
Yeah.
So,
No, my problem is that all the guys I pick up for holds end up being the closer for their teams. So it's
yeah,
like,
like,
oh,
yeah.
it sucks. I'm so good at it that they just bypass a holds part of their game and go straight to the saves. And Felipe, you're too damn good. You're too damn good at this. So I see that you have no bullpen arms on your bench at the moment. It's loaded with starting pitchers, which is probably a much better strategy than what I'm trying to do. Is just always make sure that I pick up what I think would be the best available relief pitcher, at least once every 10 days or so, it seems like. So I do have a lot of bullpen arms because you never know. Yeah, bullpen arms are pretty, they can be very either consistent and reliable, or they can be flaky as hell. And
Yeah.
That's why I always like to have backup plans because it's all matchup based and all that. You're going the opposite, which is probably the smarter thing to do is just get a bunch of starting pitchers, and you have a lot of known commodities here.
Yeah.
Because semi-weekly league, you need pitchers for Monday through Thursday. You need pitchers for the weekend as well. They don't always start every single game, so this might end up working best for you as opposed to my strategy, which I'm just. Oh boy. Well, I mean, I've been decimated with injuries, but my strategy is like, fuck it. Let's just see let's play the matchups and who's a hot hand because it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous strategy, but it's out of desperation because I can't, my guys can't stay healthy. They can't. Put it this way, James. The guys I was most excited about this year were the three Minnesota Twins starters: Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober. And those three guys have been hurt at one point or another. They've not been healthy at the same time all season long, it seems like. So they kind of been hurting me. So now I'm relying on guys like Rich Hill, Michael Wacha, Dane Dunning for a few weeks or so. I finally got rid of him. I hope I never pick him up ever again. But I'm just marveling at how I mean, these are some big names. These are who's who of starting pitching in the last few years or so. And I guess it's been working for you, just kind of shuffling them in and out into your lineup and in your bench, right?
I'll say like what my strategy really has been like. I started the year drafting Camilo Doval and Presley. So like I had two of my relievers already. Those guys were never going to leave the lineup. And then I wound up picking up Bard. Like I said, checking the trends report, seeing who's getting picked up a lot. And Bard had a really good season when the start of the season when the Rockies were actually like winning. Mm-hmm. He was getting a lot of saves, and he's still been great. So I picked him up. I was like, well, I have my three relievers right there. They're pitching every week. I'm getting saves and holds and stuff from them or whatever, right? So I was like, for a while, I was running 4 relief pitchers actually. So my pitcher slot also had a reliever. So it was like I had Duvall, Presley, and Bard all getting saves, and then I had a 4th guy who was like my holds. But now that I traded for Williams, now that last spot is going to be a starter again. And the reason for it is that our league is innings pitched. We play in an innings pitch league. So it's like, I have my relievers that play often, and I'm at 4th slot. I really want it to be for starters. And, now I have, a couple of these guys I've kind of picked up along the way because I only had like 2 starts in like a period instead of like 4 or 3. So, or I would even have 1 start. Like this past period, I had to pick up Zach Greinke for a start because I only had like 1 person pitching. And I think it was like, Desclafani was like my only pitcher.
Yeah.
I wasn't really feeling safe about, coming off injury. So I picked up Greinke to also help me out there. And I'm probably going to wind up dropping him again. I mean, we'll see. He had a great game. Who knows? But I mean, I've just been using a lot of starters, and that's why I have so many. But it's, I've been offering to trade any all year, but nobody's biting. So.
Hey, I have a lot of starters too, but they're not this good. They're not these established names you got here. I mean, this is amazing. I just look at this like, man, this guy has options. And then I look at my team like, man, I got nothing here. I got to trust Michael Wacha next week, and this sucks. I don't like it, but I'm not giving up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I started the year drafting. I had Fried as a keeper, and then I drafted Cortez, Montgomery, Morton, Desclafani, and Gausman. Like all those were drafts. Like I drafted all of those guys. I got a lot of pitching because 5 of my keepers were hitters. So I was like, I got a lot of pitching to start, and those guys are having like crazy damn years so far. Like I don't know. It's just, and I've just gotten kind of lucky with the fact that they've all kind of pitched in different periods. So I've been able to like space it out a little bit, which I think is probably a lot of luck on my end. Being able to have Fried pitch in one period and then have Gausman pitch in the other,
Yeah,
like,
no, it's very luxurious. I mean, I remember when I had that luxury when I had Gausman and Joe Musgrove and Lucas Giolito firing on all cylinders, and it looks every time I look at your team, it's like, man, this used to be my team. I used to have Gausman. Shit. I mean,
it was funny. I remember I gave you so much shit for drafting Gausman last year, like in like the first or second round.
You weren't the only one.
I drafted him. I had back-to-back picks, I think, or like I had 1 pick and then 1 pick another 3 later in the first and second rounds. And I went like back-to-back. I went Gausman, and then I went who was the other one I went? Gausman, and then who were my other starters that I even have? I forget. I don't think it was Morton. I think that would have been super early for Morton, but like whatever. I got like 2 starters like back to. Oh, you're gonna look at the draft.
You got me curious here,
Oh, it
man.
was Morton. Yeah, there wasn't really anything left. That's what it was. And Morton was expected to have a decent year.
Oh, so that's what it was. Okay, so
Yeah.
oh wow, yeah, first round again. This is the six keeper league, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so you're pretty much trying to solidify your starting rotation, and then yeah, Dalton Varsho in the third round. Yeah, we talked about this already, but it's always nice to see. Okay, so yeah, you were trying to fill out your starting rotation, and then you were the rest of the draft. You were just trying to fill out the rest of your lineup as well. There's Starling Marte, so now you're starting to fill out the rest of your hitting lineup with Yamankata and Starling Marte in the 5th and 6th round. So a nice little balance you got there. But no, I mean, this is the beautiful thing about this league is that there's so many ways to build and construct your roster. It really makes it feel like you are running a real baseball team, which is always to me, that's always been the point about these fantasy leagues is, can we get you to feel like you're running an actual baseball team? And I think little by little every year we are, thanks to Aaron and Sean for kind of just, what's the word I'm looking for? Just dealing with me, because I'm always like, hey, what do you guys think if we do this? So you just mentioned the innings pitch, right? That's something new. Like, hey guys, I feel like starting pitchers have been kind of an afterthought in this league for whatever reasons. I feel like we need to figure out a way to get them at the forefront, because I feel like too many teams are relying on relief pitchers. So we all agreed, all three of us agreed, let's just put innings pitch. I mean, we already have it as a qualifier every period. We need to get 20 innings pitched anyway. So let's really encourage people to get to those 20 innings and then some. And I think that ended up being a very good difference maker to how this league is, how people have decided to construct their teams in this league. And I think you've done a pretty darn good job. Now, I haven't seen other teams. I don't pay attention until I have to face them. But I mean, I'll tell you what, man. I would love to have your problems every once in a while. Compared to
my problem is literally just having too many players.
too many good starting pitchers, too many good players. Whereas me, it's like, oh, Jonathan India is now my only bench guy and now he's injured again. Hooray.
Are you serious? I have him on my other league, and I every other week I have to fucking take him off my roster. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I just started him. And I don't know what I did. I need to get rid of that. This is is it this? Oh, thank God. It's driving me crazy. Direct messaging. Who does that? No, but yeah, I just put him in my points league into my starting lineup, and I decided not to pick up a second baseman this week because India looks like he's finally, he hit a home run the other day, and looks like he already has 11 points in this week, so he's on the right path. And then he gets hit by a pitch. His hand is actually show that it came back negative. So we'll see if he actually plays. But I'm now might consider having to pick up another second baseman because Jonathan India cannot stay healthy this year. So what a bust he's been, right? Rookie of the year, my ass.
Yeah.
But
do you have him specifically in the second base slot, or do you have him like middle infield? Or like
India in the other league?
No, or in this one, like where were you using him here?
I haven't used him because he's always hurt. He's always hurt. And he's been on my bench because I don't know how he's going to react, being gone for so long with the hamstring injury. Is a hamstring actually healthy? Or did they give him enough time to rest? Because they didn't do it last time. So that's kind of a concern for me. But so I have him on my bench. And this week I was considering starting him in this league. And he's hurt again. So who am I relying for middle infield? I mean, my team's a mess. I don't even know how I'm winning so many games. Oh, I'm counting on Ahmed Rosario to be my miracle worker here at middle infield. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he's been pretty on fire lately, and he's been stealing a lot of bases, which is something I don't take seriously. Look for guys who've stolen bases, but he's got the bat speed. He's been on base recently a lot lately. And he can steal bases too, to boot. Let's give him the old try. Let's give him the old college try. And maybe Jonathan India will be healthy sometime in the near future because I really need him to step up. But yeah, this is my pitching. Ugh, garbage. Sonny Gray can't stay healthy. Joe Musgrove got back from COVID. I don't know how he's going to react. Framber Valdez, every time you look at his what do you call it? His Statcast page, it's always in blue, but the results are always there. We just talked about him and the Astros. I just picked up Felix Batista because he could throw really hard and fast, just like Emmanuel Clase and Clay Holmes with the ridiculous sinker ball, and Sir Anthony Dominguez. Like I said, Dominguez is going to be my holds guy, and he's been picking up saves. So like, come on, man, I can't.
That's funny. I was gonna tell you to pick up Kluber before when you were talking about pitching, and you already have him. You're ahead of me.
I drafted him, man.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I mean, I dropped him, but then I got him back anyway. So, and he's been on the bubble on my team, but every time I want to drop him, he always proves that he still has it. So, but yeah, I'm counting on Bo Brieski, Zach Davies, Rich Hill, because everybody gets hurt. I got four or five guys who are injured right now on my starting pitching. So, and then of course AJ Minter. Like I said, that's why I was shocked to see that you didn't have any bullpen bench guys. So, because you totally going in a different strategy than I am, because I don't have enough healthy arms to put a starting pitcher in my pitching slot, my utility pitching slot here. That's why Dominguez is there. So yeah, just a different approach to building lineups, which I find very fascinating and interesting. But whatever you're doing, it's working. You're being aggressive on waiver. You probably have the most trades of anyone. And the only bad thing for you is, like I said, you're in a league full of killers, man. That's just the name of the game. You're in a league full of killers who also want to vie for that top spot, and they want one of these things right here, because these things right here, the banners that I'm pointing at, those fly forever.
Yeah.
By the way, you just consider that your name might be too long here. And my wife says that they're not charging by the letter, but yeah, I noticed that your name just keeps going on forever and ever. So.
Oh, well, my team name. Yeah, no, I did it that the reason why it's named what's it called? You bets on winning with the Marte parte is because Sean told me to do it since I traded for Ketel Marte and I already have Starling Marte on my team. So he was like, you have to add that to your team name now, is with the Marte parte, because you got both the Martes on them. So that's why I have that. But we could just stick with the you bets on winning one. If that one's too long, then
no, I don't. It's for your own sake, man. You got to realize that's what's going to stay there. Like I said, my wife says that they don't get charged by the letter, so it doesn't matter. But just know that is what's going to go on the banner. You bets on winning with the Marte parte, unless you tell me otherwise, unless you make a change at the end. But yeah, some variation of that team name is going to go, and it's going to fly forever in your championship banner. Oh, we're jumping the gun here. We're assuming if you win this championship, in this league, it's not guaranteed.
I'm going to keep building my team. Going to keep sending trades. Let me know if you want to work on the outfield problem, and we'll figure something out.
Last question before I let you go. So, as you know, young whippersnapper here, I hold the record for most wins in a regular season in this league. 30 plus games last year. Do you see anybody getting to 30 wins this year, whether it be you or Jacob? You guys are the leader in wins so far this year with 15 and 14 respectively. Then you got me and Mike with 13. Are we going to see that again? A team get to 30 wins?
I think this season might be tough, just because if you look at like the standings in our league, the people who are winning aren't even really winning by that much. Like,
yeah, that's true.
In terms of like record. So it's like, I would like to say like, yeah, I could do 30 wins, but it's like, I only have 15 right now. It's already July, right? And it's like, my team's already starting to fall a little bit more in the last.
We saw this. We saw the Memorial Day standings.
So it's like, I just made 2 big trades, and, my team is immediately doing better after I made those trades. But, and at the same time, it's like, can I really expect that I'm going to win, like, 600 win percentage for the rest of the season to be able to get to, 30 wins? Maybe, but probably not. I think everybody has really good teams this year where everybody's close, everybody's fighting, and I don't really know if it's possible. You pull up the record. Yeah.
So, this is last year. Yeah. Don't ignore that. That's not important. I'm talking about this right here. So there's the closest that we got last year was 28 wins, with Sean coming in second place, and 26 is also a possibility in this league. So we might see some variation of this, but yeah, I'm just kind of curious to see if you thought. Well, so it sounds like you understand that this is a very competitive league, and that it's not easy to dominate like Felipe did last year. This is really so you thought you were coming in to brag about yourself, but this is really my platform to brag about myself, right? This is what it sounds like. No, I'm joking. No, I was just kind of, because I did in previous podcasts, I did go to Sean in a very matter-of-factly conversation. Hey, if James keeps doing what he's doing, he might get to 30 wins and maybe even break my record. So So it's a possibility, but you just mentioned all the things that you're going in a little slip right now, but you are making changes to correct those little slippages.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, you saw this, we got some 4 or 5 teams that are hunting for you and gunning for you. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
the big thing about my team though that like makes me think that I could do 30 wins, that even if you look at the losses, like the times that I did lose, I have the highest like points for and like almost one of the lowest points against in the league,
yeah.
and it's like when I win by a lot, and when I lose, I barely lose. So it's like, it's like I could really like it's a sustainable, you know, team. And if you look at my losses or my ties, it's almost all because of like pitching, which is something that I've actively like worked at fixing. In my
Yeah.
last like my last 2 trades, I got 3 pitchers back and only traded hitters that like weren't really carrying my team, and like my hitting hasn't changed since those trades have really happened. So yeah, like if you could even just go to live scoring or whatever and just like go back the last couple like periods and see my losses or something. But this is yours from
No,
last.
this is last year. So I
Yeah.
want to I'm curious to see where everybody was. The fuck? Oh, I messed up. Hold on. I just kind of curious to see where everybody was around this time last year, and then we can finish with that just to see what you would need to get to the 30 wins.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is being ridiculously slow. So I'm gonna turn off the stop sharing. Oh no, it's back. Oh, it is here, June 28th. Oh, sorry, dude, you're behind. But you know what? Unless I'm not doing this right. Unless I'm not doing this right, but yeah, it's June 26th, June 28th. I'm doing June 28th because I figured like we had to go through the weekend games. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of, let's see what happened June, if it makes a difference if we go by June 26th as this thing loads up a little bit. But as you can see, by the end of the last weekend of June, I was already at 17 wins. The season did start earlier though last year, I think. So maybe that plays a role. So yeah, so 17 wins.
So you have one more game played than I do.
Okay.
So I'm 15-7 right now.
Okay.
So since you're 17-8, you have 2 more wins than me, but only 1 more loss than me. If that makes sense. Wait, what? Hold on. Yeah, you have 1 more loss. So you have 3 games more played than I do. So you have
Oh.
2 more wins than me, but you have 1 more loss. So it's like that. It's because of the beginning of the season where we lost out on like about 3 periods. So who knows? I mean, I could be on the same pace. I don't want to try to calculate pace right now, but
Yeah.
like I'm curious though. Yeah, points for 314, points against 236. I don't know if you want to like try pulling up my point. Well, I'll tell you right now off the top of my
Go
head.
ahead, tell me. Go ahead.
My points for at this point of the season is 327.5, and my points against is 224.5. So
So it's a
my
more
pace is a little bit better than yours.
no, it's a hell of a dominant effort from you. That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, man, he has a good chance to not just time it, but he might crush it. So yeah, it's a plus 78 for me. And then what was it? 327 and what?
It was 327 and 224. So over 100.
Yeah, that's sick. That is absolutely sick. So that's where it is. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of hard to gauge. I mean, maybe I can. How many games have you played so far? 22.
So 15-7. So yeah, 22.
22, and that's what is that? That's 25. Okay, so maybe let's try.
Let's go to the 12th maybe, or the 13th or something.
Oh, oops. Yeah, I should have done that instead. I'll just go see what happens on June 17th. Yeah, this is riveting podcasting here. So we're in the we're in the Fantrax website, and we're just trying to figure out if James can get to 30 wins this year. And as you can see, there's a lot of other people. Oh, there it is. Oh, here we are. Yeah. Oh, so Sean was on pace to get to 30 wins.
Well, he didn't have a 100 points differential like I did, so maybe I'm a little bit more set up for success than Sean was.
He got exposed.
He is the one that won last year, so.
So whoever. Oh yeah, because you know what? I just realized we're at the halfway point in our league because we play 44 games. We're at the halfway point in this league, and you're in the lead, just like Sean was last year. Not as dominant though last year, Sean, as you are. That's why I was. That's where the question really stems from. So maybe that's the secret.
That it was the halfway point. That could have been the point of the thing is talking about the halfway point of the season or something.
Yeah, but maybe that's what it is. Maybe whoever leads at the halfway point ends up winning the championship.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't want to jinx myself. I know you're trying to jinx me right now because
I want to jinx everything. I want to jinx everybody. Jinx the Pokemon. Jinx you owe me a Coke. So yeah. Anyway, that's a good place to stop. James, any last words? You got anything to plug for us?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I have my Twitch, twitch.tv/SlySSB. Also, I want to show you the new addition to the family here.
Oh boy.
Yes, Sasha.
Oh boy.
So, unfortunately, I didn't post about it in Pet Life yet, but one of my dogs for my whole life that I had since I was about 9 years old, his name was Shay, named after the Mets, old stadium. He sadly passed away.
Oh,
So my family decided to rescue a new puppy. Her name is Sasha. She's a golden retriever. She's very, very cute.
that's a very cute dog, man.
Yeah. So, you know, giving another dog a chance, at a happy life.
There you go. There you go. Wait, I'm sorry. Is that your parents, or did you say that was your dog that's coming with you?
So I mean, it is technically my dog because I do, they're my parents, but she lives with them, and I live in Brooklyn and they live in Jersey. So,
Oh, I see. Okay.
but I already did convince them that she could come to Brooklyn with me every now and then. So maybe
There you
you'll
go.
see the dog with me in my podcast from my house sometimes or something.
And her name was what was it again? I missed it.
Sasha.
Sasha. Okay, I did hear right. Okay. I thought maybe I had Sasha in my mind because of wrestling. Sasha Banks got released by the WWE. And anyway, yeah, you can see wrestling's on my mind because I got a wrestling show to go to later tonight. Well, anyway, that's James. Thank you so much for showing up. Next week is the July 4th weekend. I have to talk to Sean and Austin and see if we're going to do a show or not. Because, well, not even Austin. I think Austin's gone. Anyway, I got to talk to those guys and see what we're doing. If not, we could just skip next week.
I'm still available. My birthday's on the 5th. It'll be a nice little birthday.
You want to do the podcast again on your birthday weekend? I hear. Okay.
Yeah, why not? We'll do that halfway point of the season that we were talking about. It's like about halfway through the season, we could talk more about that because I know we did a lot of Mets and Yankees and MLB stuff. So
yeah,
I'm down.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming in from the bullpen. I mean, like I said, I like to use that idiom because you were a former college pitcher for a little bit. So I kind of like that visuality there. But thank you so much for coming in and subbing in for those other guys. So maybe we'll be back next week. Maybe we won't. We'll see. If anything, happy early July 4th to everybody else. For Felipe, that is James over. No, wait, hold on. For James, I am Felipe. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.